Hey everyone, this is Wobbly Wallaby. Today I'll be discussing advanced battle tactics versus one of the hardest bosses in solo leveling Arise. Igris the Red is probably the first boss you have to play where you have to grind quite a bit since the power level is quite high. But don't give up, this guide will help you with the combat portion. Now even if you use SSR weapons and hunters, if you don't have the right technique you will still fail. In fact, I had tried many times before and failed because I wasn't dodging properly and I wasn't aware of the mechanics. I included clips from various battles so you can better learn from my mistakes and also learn some of the pro techniques. First, when he starts, he rushes at you and does a spinning jump slash. If you dodge too late or soon, you can dodge it without taking any damage. But if you time your dodges just right, just as the sword comes down, you get extreme evasion and you can deal more damage as he's stuck in time. He does this spinning move quite a few times in the matches. He begins with spinning on the ground, which can be dodged too, and then his spinning jump tracks you. Next, another skill you must dodge is the sword thrust. If you get hit, you lose a ton of HP and it consumes lots of times as you get knocked down and takes time for you to get up. When you know he's about to do it, which is usually after he's done the spinning sword jump and isn't channeling something obvious, you can get far away. The range is quite long, so it can be surprising if you're too close and then you get hit. If you time the dodge just as the sword hits you, you can do extreme evasion, although the timing is hard. I usually just get far away since it's not worth getting hit. You cannot afford to be knocked down, especially when time is ticking. After you get Igris to 19 bars left, he does this skill where he jumps up and causes a huge AoE. It does a lot of damage. If you're close, he'll also do a second wave, so being close range is bad. You can see here at 19 bars left, he begins with a roar that knocks you back and interrupts any skills you're using. He's also temporarily invulnerable. I will usually run away to avoid the damage, since doing extreme evasion is quite hard. Another skill he does after 19 bars left is the red slashes. They hurt if you get hit. You can dodge them, but he really slows you down by making a lot of space between him and you. Ideally, you do extreme evasion just as it's about to hit you, then you teleport behind him and you can start attacking him quickly. This is one of the key ways to not run out of time. The super annoying thing where he disappears into the ground. When he comes up, you have to dodge quickly. I get hit here because I didn't dodge quickly enough. Here he comes up, I see the red flame, then dodge shortly after. The timing is very strict, but just don't do it too early. He also has some channeling skills where you can react to him destroying everything in front of him. I like to stay behind him or give him some space to avoid it, then I go in behind him and get some free shots in. Next, here's my complete run. I begin with the dodge. I also put my hunters on manual since I want to control the stun from my 3rd slot hunter Huang Dongsu. I have a weapon that freezes, so I want to freeze and stun lock him as long as possible. I don't want him to come out while I'm freezing because I want the stun to happen either before or after. I use the skills and hunters that causes break. You want as much break as possible since putting Igris in break state is a great way to interrupt his damage and also get a lot of free shots in. Here I don't dodge his sword thrust and take a ton of damage. You waste a lot of your time if you fall down like that, but luckily it's not game ending just because you get hit. Next for Igris, you can use your ultimate twice in this fight. I choose to use it quickly once I get it. His health is below 19 bars, so he goes into phase 2. Phase 2 begins with this crazy AoE. The AoE is hard to avoid and there are 2 waves. I should have ran away instead of getting hit. Next he does his red slashes and I use extreme evasion to get behind him to close the distance. Again, whenever possible, I use Hwang Dong-su to stun and then I channel my freeze. If you freeze sometimes without a stun, he can knock you out of it and then you have the cooldown again, which is really bad. I was able to get a second break. You definitely want to break bosses as much as possible. Try to use break skills and hunters that break as well. At the end, I wanted to kill him with style with the ultimate, so I run around a little bit. Then I finish him off with style. That was a tough fight. With enough practice, you can learn techniques to help you out against other bosses as well. Knowing how to dodge is key, and knowing the sequences of his attacks. Next, here are the stats I used to beat Igris. I was level 39. For stats, I put a majority of my points into precision and then some into strength. I didn't invest any in vitality. I prefer to rely on my dodging, so I don't need to invest in much in vitality. That way I can focus more on strength. Next, for skills, I use Death Dance for a heavy break. I also use Vertical Art as well. Next, here are my artifacts. I like the 2 and 4 set effects of this to increase attack and lowering the target's defense. I didn't invest too much in artifacts since they're very expensive to swap, and later on you'll get some better ones. Next, for weapon, I use Demon King's Longsword for the counterattack in case I have trouble dodging. I also use Thetis Grimoire for the amazing freezing effect. I love that in this game you can freeze bosses in the game, so you get some free shots. For weapons, it really depends on what you can get. If you don't have any good SSR weapons, then definitely use the weapons that have light damage since it deals more damage to Igris. You will get elemental advantage if you do that. My overall power is 51,000. I wouldn't recommend taking on Igris with any lower power. You'll often run out of time. I've been challenging Igris since I had 46,000 attack, and it was definitely a challenge, although you do learn a lot from playing against him many times. Well, that's all. Good luck killing Igris. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Here's a video that I'd recommend. And if you want more solo leveling or Rise videos, check out this playlist over here.